Hi, welcome to my live stream tonight. Oh, here comes the kitty. He wants to be part of the show. I have the balcony, the doors open. It's raining tonight. I made a big pot. I just started it in the crock pot. I'm making meat cabbage soup. So it's low calorie, but it does have meat in it. Sorry guys, I'm not a vegetarian, but I got that started before the show. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful Sunday. And I want to play a little music here just to get started. But the main thing I just to kind of prompt, what for I guess there's three people here now. Welcome to my live stream. Just wanted to talk about some things that I noticed since I haven't been here. I've been really busy with classes and work and different projects and stuff. So uh, I wasn't able to live stream for a while, and but tonight because tomorrow's President's Day, so happy President's Day. I have it, I have a day off, so I have a little extra time to do a live stream this week. So I'm gonna play some music, and I will be right back. Hold on. Anyways, I really like that riff for some reason. I play, obviously, if you've been to my channel before, I play that a lot in the interlude. That's from Epidemic Sound. I have a subscription with them. A lot of people that live stream and podcast, they, if you don't have your own original music, I recommend them. actually. This is Alpha 1, but, I have, like I find certain music and I get a playlist. It has sound effects too, so if you wanna ever, like, add applause or a doorbell or something like that to anything that you're doing, it's really great. Yeah, I haven't been here for a while. I miss live streaming actually, and or doing some sort of show, right? Um, I think the last big show that I did was the last one I did on Cat Williams. And I'm wanting to bring more content to my channel. I don't know if you've noticed, but I did a cat video. Maybe I'll even show it here. It was actually part of my film class, and so it is what it is. I still got a good grade on it, but there were things that I made mistakes with it and I learned. One of them is like when you watch because I wanted to do it from my cat's point of view, and maybe I should even talk about this. All right, what the project was it's a visual symphony, and you're supposed to show a location or a world, or sometimes in movies, when the beginning of the movie, let's say it's a Woody Allen film, right? And so you'll see New York, or you'll see clips of people walking or whatever, and then maybe a camera swoops in into a window and follows like the main character, or the who you're going to focus on in the scene, right? You're creating a visual symphony, can't talk, of a location, basically. And so I wanted to do it from what my cat sees in the apartment from his point of view. And so my professor suggested that I get a GoPro on him, right? I don't know if you know what a GoPro is. I didn't know what a GoPro was. It's just like this little tiny camera, and I guess you mount him, or you mount the camera on a cat, right? And or whatever. Like, it's great because it's great for action shots and stuff like that. When you see those snowboarding thing, shots, it's got a GoPro there that's capturing that shot. And so I got the GoPro, not ever using one before, and I'm thinking, how the hell am I going to mount this on my cat? Right? I mean, he's a cat. Like, it's not like cats are the best animals that you can go, hey, I'm going to put this hat on your head, or I'm going to have you wear something that's you're not used to, and try to get, I don't know, like natural shots. So I looked at, maybe I should show them actually. I looked at some videos with cats wearing GoPros, right? And I went all out. Like, I bought a dog collar because I was trying thinking, how am I gonna mount it on anything? Do I put a harness on him? Um and like, so I went to the pet store and I got a harness, and then I had to break him in, right? Like, let alone, like, first he's gonna have to try to get used to having a cat harness on just in the first place. When I put it on him, is he stretched his body all out, like he's all elongated and everything. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like, I don't know if it's gonna work. And I thought, well, maybe I just, because it's made out of fabric, and I go, I could just cut it right, like right, like how his chest goes down, right, over his shoulders, and then maybe mount it that way. And I went to the Dollar Tree store and I got like Velcro. I thought, well, maybe I'd Velcro it, and then I do a temporary Velcro, like the ones when you hang your pictures, and hopefully, like, hi, God's Gladiator. No, he didn't like the harness. Cats don't like harnesses. I mean, even when I went into the pet store, right? I was looking at, the different harnesses that were there. I was at Petco, and there was a cat squeeze into a harness. It was like it looked like it was way too tight on him, but he was so patient in the hallway. I mean, I don't see my cat like just going, yeah, I'm going to be hanging out here in the aisle in Petco and let people decide whether or not my harness was tight enough. Because I was going, well, because I looked at the cat because, well, you think this is a good size for him? And I'm first of all, I'm thinking you're asking me for advice. Like what, it's not like I'm the authority on, you know, cat harnesses, right? But I looked at it and I go, he looks a little tight. I mean, I think maybe you should go for, the step up on the harness, right? So they did. I got the harness. I tried to get the cat harness on, try to do the GoPro. Then at some point, like I'm watching GoPro tutorials because it was a little bit more extensive than I knew, and I didn't like we rented from, the camera, from the tech department at the college. You can rent one, and I'd rented one, but I was there real quick picking it up and just kind of like, a real quick like this is what you do thing. But I didn't pay attention enough to how the SIM card is a little micro SIM card, and then it sets, I guess, in the adapter. And I just didn't somehow I didn't realize that the tiny micro was in the adapter, and so I could never find the micro card. So I'm like, oh god, I'm screwed on the GoPro. I'm screwed on the GoPro. Okay, so I watched these cat videos with the cat wearing a GoPro, thinking that maybe I could mimic the GoPro by watching the perspective of what the footage is that the GoPro gets. And so I want to show. I guess maybe I should put my banner on. I want to show you, um, what it gets, right? So, oh shoot. Okay, yeah, I had to share the screen again. Anyways, all right. So here's the GoPro cat. Let's you're gonna love this. You're gonna freaking love it. Okay, I got a big. It's so bizarre. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let me go back. Now these cats are, they're not just my cat's an indoor cat. So whatever he got on the GoPro would be him jumping around the apartment or doing whatever he did in the apartment. But these cats are actually outside, right? So here we go. Okay, now let's move ahead here a little bit. This goes on for a while. Isn't that wild? Okay, and see how he goes down in the ground and sniffs like that, right? And then, okay, so this is just like things that the cat looks at while he's wearing the GoPro, right? That's his perspective from the camera. I mean, his eyes are above that, right? But oh my god, it's fascinating to me. Wow. And see how it's like jerky and everything, like it's not like it's a smooth shot, right? You're getting like, okay, so, and then there's another one too. Like I want to share here for a second. Um, oh, this one's great. This one's freaking. Oh, this one's awesome. Okay, hold on. Let me. Okay, hold on. Oh, look at that perspective. Him looking down on the other cats. Oh, it's so awesome. Look at that. He's looking over the edge. Who needs a drone? Just have your cat do this. Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Man. Oh, he sees another cat. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, so like you really, I mean, the thing about the GoPro is that you really get a feel for, the cat's perspective. And okay, so then I had this other camera. I gotta tell you, cameras are some of them are just too big for me. They're just too big. All right. They're just big. And but you have to learn. I mean, there's different sizes that you can work with, but the one that's available, I wanted to do the one there's two cameras that are available for us to rent, and this one I had a little bit experience with, but the battery went out. The battery wasn't working properly. So I got like two shots on it. And then it has like a big, tripod and everything. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Like, I can't get the GoPro to work. The big camera isn't working. I'm going to just have to do it on my cell phone, the I14, and I want to show it to you guys because I uploaded it. I had it on, I put it on unlisted because you had to, turn in the assignment. I had to turn the assignment last week. Like, I shoot it, edit it. And I tried to, as much as I could, mimic that perspective that I watched on the GoPro, but I still just had my iPhone 14. And granted, I'm still a student, right? I'm still learning and, making mistakes and stuff like that. And one of the things, and I'll when I watch the video, I'll tell you what the suggestions were. I had a lot of clips, and the only thing is, I wish I had it. I had some clips where I did that him looking around the room, and I should have just added that a little bit more of that to give it more of a visual symphony of his environment. And but I'll show it to you. I uploaded it also to TikTok today, and it got like 400 and something views or something like that, like real quick. And I was like, wow. So it's interesting to see how different social media platforms respond to certain material. But anyways, let me pull it up. I will show it here. And uh so I mean, I'm just letting you guys know what I've been doing this week. I've been making, videos with my cell phone and trying to put GoPros on my cat. And hey, and I'm going to school for that. So it's part of my class, it's like what a wonderful world, right? So let me just go to I am a little bit impromptu right now. I mean, I had an idea of what I wanted to talk about, but I'm kind of being a little bit spontaneous at the moment. So I did a short of this too, because it had to be exactly 60 seconds. And he said for like 60 seconds you should have at least 20 takes. You're editing 3 seconds at a time. So let me share this with you. My cat video, my challenging cat video. Hold on. Okay, I mean, and that's how I edited it. Now, um, one thing that I did learn from it, like that shot where the cat's looking at the balcony, and then you see his point of view looking at between the vines. My professor said I should have flipped that. I should have seen the vines first, and then you see the cat looking down. Um, he also said that I probably should have just like opened the door and do it from his perspective only, not have shot me opening the door just to make it like it's all the cat's eyes. Um, but the best shot compliment I got was the shot of him coming around to the water, and then and I think because like show now that I show you the GoPro and how the cat's perspective was, I was trying to simulate him sniffing around because that's what he had done while he had went on the counter. So anyway, that was I thought maybe I'd tell that story tonight and share that video. Um, and I thought maybe I'd talk about like a few other things that I've been learning that I find interesting. One of my most interesting classes is Africana Studies, and also the history of the Egyptians, as well as the crossover to Moses. I mean, because what I learned is Moses was black, like Moses was black, and he was married to a pharaoh, and the 10 commandments, there's maat, it's MAAT, there's 42 different principles in maat, like ways to live by, and some of those things in there is actually part of the 10 commandments. What's There's two different types of studies, right? Like we have Eurocentric history, and then we have Afrocentric history. And another thing that's really I found really interesting is like the concept of God, like the religion of God, worshiping one God, and having humans having direct communication with God actually started in Africa. That was the beginning of it all. And yeah, so I just find that to be really really interesting. Our alphabet actually originally came from Africa. I know a lot of people say Greece and this and that, but when the civilization of man, we were at some point we were really quite advanced. Another thing that I found really interesting is I was in my last class, and we were on the Egyptians and about their burials, and how, the mummification was the belief of the afterlife. It was always about that there was an afterlife, that the soul goes on. That, and so, like your ancestors, know your ancestors, respect your ancestors, give your ancestors, thanks, and wish them, pray for them and wish them well, because they are going on to the afterlife, right? And so it was just, I found it to be, that part to be really fascinating. But just like how, oh, okay, here it was. All right, I almost forgot what it was for a second. The Book of Enoch, right? Okay, so it gets to the Book of Enoch, of all things, right? In class. And even like, Osiris and Isis and all that stuff, everything, right? Which he even the discussion of the obelisk, and what it symbolizes, civilization, it started there. I mean, and I know in this world there's like all this conspiracy, right? But let me get to the Book of Enoch. um See, there was this picture, and I asked a question because I'm into cats, right? And I know the Egyptians, sometimes the cat was mummified and buried with them, or their animals were mummified and buried with them and everything. And I know that cats are, were basically kind of worshipped. I mean, I know they shouldn't have been worshipped, but you know what I'm saying, because they believed in the one God. But I mean, cats were really important, and so there was a tomb that was on, kind of like a, it looked like a, like a bed almost, but it was like the shape of a cat. There's the cat's head on it, and there was cat's tail, but over it, like in the Egyptian paintings, there's the cat person over, the tomb. And at first, I didn't think about the cat person, right? With the person with the cat head. I just was like talking about the bed. And my professor goes, "Oh, no, that's a half cat, half human." Like, it's not like he totally admitted it. He said, "But he goes, the book of Enoch?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've heard of the book of Enoch." He goes, Enoch, Enoch, went to heaven, and he's immortal. I said, "Yeah." He says, "Well, those are the children of the fallen angels, the ones with like the bird heads and everything like that." And like, the cat is like, he didn't say that that's what it was, but it was like, it could be the folklore of it, right? Or whatever. But he goes, "I'm not teaching that in class or anything like that." He says, "But that is the cat-headed person is like considered to be like, if you were to go within the book of Enoch, that's the fallen angel. That's the Nephilim." Isn't that trippy? Okay, it's just, I mean, again, it's, make what you will at what I'm saying, but I found African history to be really, really interesting because, I tutor biology, anthropology. I know everybody probably knows now. And when you study like where the first, humans were found, the first hominins, it's always been Africa. It's like life did start in Africa. And my professor, right, he'll say why, he goes, "Why do you think Africana studies is so important right now?" Because Africa is like a big deal. Everybody wants Africa, China, Russia, United States, because they're rich in resources. They're rich in resources, right? And it's always been that way. And what's going on, baby? What's happening? What's happening? Yeah? He's doing his mating call. So there is a, what time am I at here? There was a north cradle and a south cradle of Africa, and the South Cradle was more abundant, and their civilization was matriarch. It was matriarchal. Like the woman, like the man had to bring the dowry. Okay, like the woman kept the name. And it was very much about like the group or the collective. Like, a woman would give up her life for the future of her child, for what her child would do for the collective of the civilization, right? Now, in the north area, where it wasn't as plentiful, where it didn't rain as much, or they didn't have the right, it wasn't as abundant, the soil wasn't as rich, right? It was patriarchal, and physical strength and the maleness and individualism and all of that was the dowry, and a man at that time, if he wanted to, could make his children and his wife slaves, or sell them if he wanted to. So, and they weren't as plentiful, and we had to write about this. We had to make there's like a group discussion that you go on Canvas and you put in like a couple paragraphs about this and everything. And at the very end, I couldn't help myself. I go, "Well, the North Cradle sounds a little too much like the United States." I just kind of had to like throw it out there. It's like, and then I question. I goes, "Does that mean that we're not as plentiful? Like, are our resources not as plentiful?" Was like, I mean, because if you were equating like the South to the North, I mean, that was a reason why it was like, where it was abundant, it was matriarchal, but where it was, not, it wasn't, right? So I just like that's an interesting cultural, if you want to get into cultural anthropology, be very it's a cultural dynamic that makes you wonder, like when people feel secure, safe, they have everything they need, you work in, together, maybe that's I think a better model than, this whole thing about the haves and the haves nots, right? Um, Another thing, and I and before, because I'm gonna do about an hour right here, and then I'm gonna go on and do Rumble after this. Okay. Maybe for like another hour, starting at 10:30. Because there are some things I do want to talk about, that I really feel, I mean, like I still want to do material on it. Um, but I feel that I'm tired of participating here on YouTube about. And I would say just participating in general in really any of it. All right. And I'll get back to that in just a few minutes before I finish talking about the geology thing. Another thing that I want to share with you when we talk about resources, right? And having enough that, to fill it, everybody needs gas in their car. They need to have an electric car or whatever. If you have a car or you're on a bus or some sort of like something that's moving, that's using some sort of, natural resource from the earth to be able to do. And I know this is like where people's like lips are going to curl, right? Because we wanted, have like we have people have discussions, about global warming and what you think about it and this and that, and everything like that. Yeah, the planet has tectonic plates that move all the time, and there are things that happen in the earth that could be really destructive to, all life. I mean, how many times has this happened really when, call it a polar shift, call it whatever you want, huge flood, whatever, volcano, earthquake, you name it. A lot of things, by nature, can happen and have, a devastating effect on a population. Like let's say a meteorite falls out of the sky or something, right? I mean, how many movies or sci-fi movies have we seen like this, right? So, and it is a time where, of course, he would be like doing this tonight. I should have done an earlier broadcast. What's happening? What's happening? What's going on, baby? Yeah. Okay. Maybe there's like another cat out there, right? Just going, yeah, and he's, I don't know. I should probably look. Um, so the first day I went in my geology class, my professor did say this. He says, your computers and your cell phones and everybody's devices, that because that's the metals and the minerals and everything that's being used for that is coming out of our earth. And our earth, like some of those minerals and iron, I don't know, not iron, but you know what I'm saying, things that make us be able to like me to like I'm doing right now, right? It took years for us to get that rock or whatever it is, right? Years for it to like form to be on the earth, and we are using it faster than the earth can like replenish it. And so that's pretty, I mean, that's a true statement. And I just wanted to share that. Like I don't think as people, and I know that, like that conversation gets really politicized. It's like, oh no, it's not, and there, and and whatever, and blah blah blah. But fact of the matter is, we could be better to the planet. We could take care of her a little bit better, right? And give back instead of, or recycle, or find other sources. Do you know that in Africa the first paper was made out of papyrus, and it was the same plant that makes pepper. So, I mean, we can make hemp paper. I keep saying this. We can run our cars on hemp. There's plastics, there's things that we can do that can make, maybe we can do better. Maybe. I know I'm probably gonna get, oh, she's a globalist, Illuminati, she's a lefty. No, I'm just having an open mind, like getting, looking, being educated, looking at different sides of, a narrative. Like, what is it? Do you believe what's written in the papers? Do you believe what, a professor wrote about something? Do you Maybe you shouldn't. Like, I'm not saying just because like somebody is a voice of authority that, we should just like, oh my god, this is it. This is, let's believe it. Let's Because I don't think we can be people like that. Now, that being said, when you there I'm trying to say how I can say this. Like, I walked around the house all day, or I thought about exactly how I wanted to express this. And, I'm going to say this and I'm going to say that. And this is what I want to say, and blah, blah, blah. And then when I get here, I feel like I'm just kind of like, um, I think that what is happening on the internet, between groups of people feuding or whatever, and saying really awful things about each other, lies about each other, maliciousness about each other. Um, you know, I don't want to be part of it anymore. Like, it was never, the reason why I wanted to have a YouTube channel, or, the reason why I was on the radio, chose to do internet radio, do any type of podcasting. My initial reason to even do any type of radio was because I wanted to do something good. And that started with me with the cannabis plant. And I did segments with Normal Show Live, and it kind of like all went on, from there for me. It's part of the reason why I, want to go back to college and learn more things in media, especially with an emphasis on digital media, right? Because I'm already in digital media. I have been for a really long time. And I want to, write and talk about things. And it's not like I'm gonna like leave the genre of the things that I've talked about. One show that I'm thinking about doing in the future is that Aaron McCullum. I kind of, I did a video and I was kind of like, oh, I'm not buying this or whatever. But it's kind of interesting right now that there is something going on with Yemen, and he did say something like that. And so or that's going to play out in the future. Uh, and I think that it's kind of interesting to go back and, look at some of those things. But I think that the material that I do want to bring to this channel will be, material that is of value of the people that followed me, back when I was on those other, radio networks, or maybe they followed me to here, on my last YouTube channel, or maybe you're here now. But, I don't think that my subscribers here are everybody else that's involved in this particular LARP thing, because I never really started there in the first place. And if you look at their channels, most of them, and I'm not saying all of them, but they have very little subscribers. They're like under 500, and even if that. And they're not growing, they're not expanding. They just do what they do, and that's what they do on YouTube. And I'm just not interested in branding myself on the internet. I don't really feel like, especially YouTube or even, Twitter, that much anymore. I don't think behooves me to put a spotlight on the people that are saying negative things about me and fretting over every single little thing they say, because why should I be advertising their channel? Um, right? I mean, like, if I'm gonna if I want to have creative energy to do a video like that, or create more content, um you know uh, for whatever, photography, whatever, live streams talking about things that we can really have good conversations over, or maybe something that inspires people, makes you feel good, rather than something that is nasty and going to bring somebody down, because that's not what I want to be doing with my life. Like, it's like, no, there's so much to learn and to be interested in. And there's so much that you can do just for your own community or your family, or, you can play a song and dance, or you can pet your cat, or, kiss your loved one or whatever, because, you know, we're having a hard, we could have some hard times as a humanity, and in the things that we're facing, and things are going really, really fast now. And so how do we prepare for that, really? And maybe instead of trying to create some sort of narrative for people, like so and so, and now I'm gonna and they did this and blah 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 blah, and and just like whatever. What is the purpose of that? Well, I think there is and more importantly, why are they doing it? Why does it happen? Why do they lie? Why? Right? It's not so much like, oh, they're going to say and do this or do that or whatever. It's the fact that they are engaged in it at all. I mean, obviously, doing it doesn't get you, subscribers. It doesn't get you monetized. It doesn't what is where is the payoff for these people to even be participating in it for them? Right? And also, what is it? Because I think it's very highly orchestrated. At this point, I'm not sure who's not a LARPer and who's a LARPer right now. And I think that's fine. I even think that's kind of healthy. There was a person early on in this that told me something, and they said, it's all play. It's the fights and all the kind of stuff. It's all fake. It's just business. And when it's all said and done, and they go to the Christmas party, they're all joking and laughing and smoking cigars and having a margarita together. And it's and I'm going to talk about this more over on Rumble. But if that's what it is, if that's all it is, like that Peggy Lee song, if that's all there is, my friends, then let's keep dancing. Let's break out the booze and have a ball. Okay, anyway, if that's all there is. Great song. It's a very quirky song. Yeah, if that's all there is, and like I'm sorry, but I'm interested in bringing something better than that to my YouTube channel. But I am going to go over on Rumble, and I'll be there at 10:30. And matter of fact, let me give you the stream to what I'm going to talk about. Because I still feel on some levels there's some things that do need to be addressed, and one is the discussion of what is this, what's going on, right? And then there's also matter of fact, I might even show this. I think that it's kind of important to like discuss like why it's happening, who's doing it, what's going on. I think that there are certain boundaries that certain people involved in this have made, like making personal phone calls or to whomever, the person they're attacking, or their employment or CPS or whatever it is they're up to. Um, they've done those things, swatting, all of that. That's when it like I think it begins to cross the line. And it's not so much just like, oh, people are saying lies about me and whatever, and going all over my Instagram and taking my pictures and doing whatever with them and impersonating me on certain channels or Twitter X accounts or whatever, right? They're not only just doing that, but they're actually coming into your personal life. And I think that's where the mess up is. That's where it's not so funny anymore. And I think that if people can just sit back and go, oh well, they're just in this and that, or it's just like it's a LARP, it's just like just ignore it. But when you have people actually calling your employers and stuff like that, that's not something you can actually really ignore anymore. And so I don't see where that rationale is, even really acceptable, really. I think somebody who says something like that is probably part of it. Let's just put it that way. Okay. Um, so that being said, I will show you this video that I have running as the beginning, or a teaser for that stream. Here it is.
My opposition is telling me to be more like Christ. That was what was in that video. Thomas once told me that I was walking the path of Jesus Christ and what I was doing. And but I want to remind everyone that this time around, Jesus comes as a man, not as a child. And he's bringing a sword, and there's blood on his tunic. And at the time he comes back, there'll be a great gnashing of teeth. People who think they're going to have their cake and eat it too believe that Jesus is bringing a sword so he can cut their cake, and that the great gnashing of teeth will be them all enjoying their cake. But history does not repeat itself, it echoes. And although I believe this Easter we are in a time where history is definitely coming back around, it's an echo, and it ain't going to play out the same time it did last time. My opposition is telling.
Okay, so
My opposition.
yeah, I mean, if he's going to be making TikTok videos talking about me, I might as well make a TikTok video featuring him as the pickled Messiah complex. So we'll just leave it at that. But at 10:30, I will be over on Rumble, and I just put the link there in the description, or like right here in the chat. And after this is over with, I'll put it in. I'll pin it to the post in the comments section. How about that? And I will be over there talking about a few things more openly and freely than I choose to be here on YouTube. Until next time, I'm gonna like play a song and say goodbye.
save my soul. Went up downtown. Went up downtown. Went up downtown. Come on to save my soul. Went up downtown. I went up downtown. Went up downtown. Up, save my soul. Up, save my soul. Up, save my soul. Up, save my soul. Save my soul. Up, save my soul. Oh, child, save my soul. Up, save my soul. Up, save my soul. Up, save my soul. Oh, child, save my soul. Up, save my soul. Up, save my soul. Up, save my soul. Oh, child, save my soul. Up, save my soul. Save my soul. Up, save my soul. Up, save my soul. Up, save my soul. Went up downtown. I went up downtown. Went up downtown. I was walking out one evening late. Moon was rising high, headed for the riverside. Around us fuss and fight.